This is the Demystifying Mental Toughness podcast, hosted by David Charlton, and you're listening to this podcast to help you build your own mental toughness, or so that you can support other people or your clients better. Either way, you will learn more about developing this plastic personality trait that all but guarantees that you will perform better and lead a more prosperous life. Currently, we're working with a high number of youngsters across a range of sports, from golf to cricket, football, tennis, gymnastics, cycling. The list goes on. And regardless of the sport, I see a lot of common themes where children have very similar challenges and where parents have similar concerns and worries. Gone are the days when I was a kid, which was a long, long time ago, when children could play out on the street with their friends. They could just have fun, experiment, be free, creative, and simply play their chosen sport or sports. Now, from such a young age, with organised sports, with academies, there's so many pressures, extra pressures placed on children that weren't, certainly in my time. And these make the sporting experience a lot more challenging now. I know when I was a youngster, I had issues with my confidence. I worried an awful lot about what people thought. I was always mind reading. I was very self-conscious. And now, with the hidden pressures to perform, with selections for teams, for squads, for deselections, benchmarking, governing bodies investing lots of money in sports science with youngsters, the pressures are increased and it can be very, very tough. Anyway, on with the show. In this short bite, I'm going to go on and answer a question from Max, who listens to the show regularly. His daughter plays football, and he says, "My daughter can perform really well when she practices or trains, but when she competes, she often looks like a different person and freezes. How can I help her?" Hey Max, well, this is a question I get asked an awful lot, and I see it a lot on the sidelines too, on football pitches, cricket fields, golf courses, every day. It's complex and it relates an awful lot to what I mentioned earlier, to the pressures being placed on children at such a young age. It's also linked to what's going on in their school lives, the pressures of education, even things that are going on at home. They can have a big impact too, though I'm going to talk about it from one angle. Yeah, I'm trying to keep this quite short. I haven't got all day, unfortunately. So some children that play sport, they have a lot of hidden worries. Often when they train and compete in sport, parents, coaches and friends are unaware what's actually going on in the child's mind. The reality is their beliefs, their perceptions can have a huge impact on their performances, on their confidence and self-esteem. And after working with thousands of youngsters now, I've noted that a huge worry, especially from the age of around 9 to 10, is concerns what other people think, what they think about how they'll perform. And children can get really overly concerned with this, overly concerned with what their friends, parents, coaches, scouts think. And often what that means is they don't go on to fully express themselves. They go on to play in fear. They may even hide if they play a sport like football or rugby. They'll freeze. They can also get overly emotional and get very frustrated, especially if they make a mistake. And these are fatal. And yes, there's something I experienced as a child too, which goes on to impact on how much they learn and how much they enjoy their sport. So what are the solutions? Well, I'm going to give you 3. The first one, parents and coaches really need to consider and help them identify the problem. Try and ask the child if they're worried about what people think when they play. Find out who specifically that they're worrying about. Talk about what happens in these situations when they start to worry. Try and understand what goes on in their world. And yeah, we know often children won't talk to parents about different things because they worry about being judged, perhaps even being judged as weak. With coaches, it can be even tougher because this judgment about being weak, they might worry about being selected or not being selected. It's difficult. So maybe a trusted mentor, a relative, or someone like myself can come in and help in that way. But certainly as a parent or a coach, if you can put on that empathetic, that supportive, loving side to you, then you've got more chance of them being able to open up and answer some of these questions. Secondly, by helping children focus on what they do at their best when they're playing their sport can be really, really helpful for them and uplift them. So an example, something I do with parents and with children themselves, it's called setting mini goals. Mini goals that they can concentrate on. An example recently would be a young cricketer who's a bowler, who's worried an awful lot about what his teammates have been thinking, about what parents, again, and coaches are thinking on the sidelines. So what we did, we sat down with his parents and him, and we decided what we'd do is we'd rate him 2 aspects of his game that were very important and that he did when he was at his best. One was being decisive when bowling, was choosing a line and a length and sticking to it. And then also the second one was it was the ability to respond positively to bad balls or mistakes or being whacked around the ground. He didn't worry about that when he was bowling really well, he'd be taking wickets. So we tried to transfer that into everyday matches. And the rating system we used was 33 for poor, 66 average, 99 good. And for a number of games, he went on to rate himself for these 2 little mini goals there, about being decisive and then responding positively. And by doing this, he found it really, really useful. It helped focus him to concentrate on the task in hand, not to worry too much about what other people were actually thinking. And then over a period of time, over a period of about 5 to 6 matches of doing this, we started seeing some changes. Where he was a 33 or a 66, that would change to a 66 or a 99. And then by the end of the 5th match, 6th match, it was generally 99 was what he was looking for, because naturally he challenged himself. And nobody likes to write down low numbers. So he found this very, very helpful. And his parents went on to try and rate him too. Certainly it was difficult for them to do it for the decisive aspect, but they did go on to rate him for the responding positively to bad balls. And they had some nice conversations between them. And again, it helped his confidence and his enjoyment massively. Now, the last one is trying to help improve your child's self-talk. Children who focus too much on other people can also put themselves down a lot. They can criticize themselves with a lot of negative self-talk and generalizations. Examples are, I won't play well when the scout from the county comes to watch me. Oh no, my dad is watching. What will he be shouting on the sidelines? I'll never play well. Again, a note for coaches and for parents. Help children replace these negatives, the negative self-talk, with positive self-talk. Don't get involved in put-downs. So how do you actually make this change? Well, help children think about what positive self-talk is like. So, in the case of the county scout, I must be doing something right if the county scout is here. Let's show him how quickly I can bowl. I played well last week when Dad was watching, so I can do it again today. Helping children frame it by questioning them, by being patient, is really, really important. Now, I hope these 3 tips are helpful. Certainly the most important thing from what I can see and from my work is showing unconditional love and patience with your child. Emotions can take over so easily in a sporting environment for the child and for the parent and the coach. However, by remaining calm and present with your child, you're going to give them a much better chance of enjoying themselves, which, let's face it, is what it should be all about at such a young age. So feel free to get in touch if you'd like to have a conversation about this question or about the best approach to support your child. I'm always happy to have a conversation. My contact details are in the show notes. And as a team, we support a large number of youngsters and would love to help you. Some of our sports psychologists in training are highly educated with degrees, with master's degrees, and now they're going through charterships to be fully qualified. They're closely supervised by myself and my colleagues, and they're always looking to help children as they learn their craft. Their rates are very affordable, The service they offer is excellent. So if cost is a concern to you, they might be the guys that you want to work with. The tools, the techniques that we teach youngsters really help them in their sport, yes. However, they also cross over into real life too. So they're life skills. I look forward to hearing from you. Feel free to ask any questions and have a great week ahead. If you enjoyed this episode of the Demystifying Mental Toughness podcast with David Charlton, do check out my website, sport-excellence.co.uk, and my online sport psychology resources. The Sport-Excellence website has essential resources for anyone looking to build their own mental toughness or the mental toughness of their athletes or teams, or if you want to achieve peak performance more often or optimal functioning. The Sport Excellence website has everything you need to keep moving forward and thrive. So go on, head over to sport-excellence.co.uk to find out more.